Yeah, it's been 2 weeks. I know. I know. I gotta deal with that. Slacker. Where'd I leave you? Oh yeah, last time. Let's see. I talked to the insurance adjuster and I talked to Transource and they said $6,000 and we can probably hook you up, get you repaired back on the road. So that's probably a turbo piping, electrical work. But like I told you, I'd fogged that thing with a fire extinguisher. And I was like, man, I'm going to have some issues. And so I told him to dig in deeper. Oh, and by the way, you wonder what I'm setting in. It's a classic car. It's a 64 Ford Falcon. And I guess I should do a story on that, the history of that with the family and friends and relatives. We'll get to that. And so, and this is April 26th when the truck caught fire and all the issues I had with that. So somebody else delivered the load to Jersey and towed the truck to Rocky Mount. And we head down to Florida because we had bought a house down here in the place called The Villages. Get a call from the adjuster. He says, well, it's a total loss. Are you kidding me? I mean, for you guys that have built your own businesses from the ground up, started your own businesses, it's almost like a child, your own child. And I was heartbroken. I done the dump truck, transitioned to flatbed, and it was killing me. It ripped my heart out. And they were going to give me $18,000 for the truck. And that trailer was only a year old, my flatbed. And it just sucked. So we'd prayed about it and thought about it. And my wife and I said, well, let's list the house in North Carolina. And if it gets to be a certain number, we'll let it go. But I halfway built a 17 by 20 deck off the back of it and wasn't completely done. The ceiling in the kitchen was horrendous. The bathrooms were horrendous. I mean, it just needed a lot of touch-ups of work. Outside needed to be graveled, cleaned up. So we thought we'd bring a friend over and a contractor and say, hey, what about this? What about this? What about this? And we didn't want to spend a whole lot of money. Because you got to figure out what you're going to recoup when you return on investment, just as far as curb appeal. So we'll bring in landscapers. We'll bring in contractor guys to do the ceiling and bring over Sherry, our real estate agents we've had for years. And we brought them over and they said, hey, what's the market look like? It looks like this. How long do you think? I'm not sure. It could change. So when would you like to list it? Now, take for granted, I'm already 4 weeks out of the truck at this point. Highly frustrated. Who's anybody back here? Oh, neighbors. And so they come over and they're like, we list it tomorrow. It's like, well, what? List it tomorrow? Are you crazy? Yeah, list it tomorrow. For what? And it was $5,000 off the number I wanted. All right. Got 2 weeks. 2 weeks to do this. And I'm freaking out. So I'm unemployed. So I spent 2 weeks straight finishing the deck, doing the inside of the house, doing the ceiling, and the ceiling screwed up because the plaster was so dry. When we repainted it, cleaned it up, it rehydrated the plaster and started peeling off the ceiling. My wife was having a friggin' meltdown. Finally got it done. Took all the stuff out of the house. say 80% of it, put it in storage, and brought it down here to Florida. Listed the house on we're going to hang out here for 2 weeks. We listed the house on a Saturday morning, left that Saturday morning for Florida. It was under contract Monday morning. We're like, well, looks like we're actually moving. Now we have a whole house. Think about this. We had a small house down here. So all of a sudden that house is under contract. We're in a small house down here, but we need to move to a bigger house because we got a classic car, golf cart, other things. But I'm unemployed. So a little stressful. So it goes under contract. They don't have to finance. And we have to find a house. So we're freaking out. A bigger house. So in the meantime, we come across a house that's real close within the neighborhood that we like. And the lady, we like the house, and she's like, oh yeah, it's been on the market since like February. And the realtor says, well, if you're really serious, she'll knock $25,000 off the price. So our house just sold in North Carolina. This is the house we wanted because we can't fit all this stuff in our little house. So through a lot of faith and a stress, that house goes under contract. We go under contingency on this house, and we're trying to sell the little house. So that house finally sells up there. We're able to get this house. And now we're just trying to sell a little house, which is stressful. But I got to find a job while I'm down here. And so I just start going through Indeed and trying to find different jobs here. And I don't want to be a mechanic again. I sold and gave away 60 to 70% of my heavy equipment mechanic stuff. Because where am I going to put it? Oxyacetylene set, full set of torches and hoses, welder, wire feed welder, tire tools, all kinds of stuff. I mean, what am I going to do with all that stuff? You know? So there's a community of friends and people I work with there, and I sold it all to them, and we're just selling more stuff and trying to just liquidate, because you've been carrying this stuff around for 20 to 30 years. Think about it. People my age, it's just a collection of stuff you just drag around. For what reason? If you haven't touched it in the last year, the last 6 months, get rid of it, man. It's just a thing. And there was such freedom in that. You cannot imagine the freedom in that. And it's just crazy. It was just crazy. So where am I at right now? Oh, before we go back and get the rest of our stuff, I'm applying for jobs. So in the next video, I'll tell you the jobs I applied for and what I was doing and the process that led me closer to where I'm at right now. So, and like you guys know, I'm heavy bound and hammer down. See you next time.